I wonder if by the time this comes out, there'll be snow. Because currently it's raining.
Coming up just right around Christmas. Well, who knows, right?
This is
it's
our
a hit or miss.
Yeah, this is our Christmas episode. So, let's dive right into it.
Ho ho ho!
Because I said it as if it was a pun, but I'm not sure if there was any wordplay there.
Whatever. It was just an excuse for me to do a Santa laugh.
Oh yes. All right. Hello, and welcome to Temple of the False Spot, where our decks are not optimized, but our plays sure as heck are jolly. I'm Andy.
I'm Bruce.
Bruce has been bragging about some cards that he has, so we figured we'd take a look at them. And
I don't have all of them.
Okay, well, it's the holiday season, and some of you may be receiving a special gift in the mail from Wizards of the Coast. Your holiday card. We wanted to talk about the holiday cards that they put out every year.
Yeah.
They put out one every year since 2006, I believe. Because they're fun little silver bordered seasonal delights.
They're great.
Yeah.
The best part is, honestly, like I said, I've got a few of these, mostly from when I was writing for Wizards, and didn't matter if the card was good or bad. It was just something really cool that, a select few people had. I loved it, and actually most of mine have been in decks at least at some point. So we thought we'd take the chance, go through them all top to bottom, just sort of chat about them a little bit, and honestly, these are cards that most of us just aren't going to get. They are available. Like a lot of the stores do have one or two of them in stock, but for the most part, the price on them pretty much says I'm not getting this because these cards just aren't that good. And
even if they are, use your discretion when playing with them.
They are silver bordered, and they definitely adhere to silver border.
We kind of wanted to bring up some silver bordered cards anyway because Untitled is coming up. And with that will be this weird mixture of a dump of both commander legal cards and non-legal, quote unquote.
With or without Acorn.
Right. Use your discretion, talk with your group, figure out what's comfortable with all of you. For all of you.
Right. Untitled, play it like you would any other silver bordered cards, whether they're silver bordered or not.
Right.
Talk to your group, find out. And the same goes for all of these holiday cards.
Yes.
Honestly, it's rare I would recommend this, but print one off, make a proxy, throw it in a deck right around Christmas time, have a little fun with it one time, and just enjoy. I mean, these cards are just there for fun, so why not give it a shot?
Let's dive right into it. Again,
Let's go.
That pun. Beautiful. First up, 2006. They were feeling seasonally spicy with Fruitcake Elemental. 1 green, 7/7. Amazing.
Yep.
Fruitcake.
It's indestructible.
It's indestructible. And at the end of your turn, it deals 7 damage to you.
Okay, well, yeah.
And then for 3, you can give it to target player.
Right.
Because, that's all Fruitcake is good for, is just regifting.
The thing with Fruitcake Elemental is when you pass it off, it doesn't do the 7 damage until that person's end step. So in theory, if you play it and give it haste, you could swing, do your 7 damage, pay 3, and give it away before your end step. The issue, though, is...
Now they have it.
Well, now they have it. So they can attack, and then they're going to spend 3 to get rid of it. So in other words, it's mostly a 3-mana upkeep as each person plays hot potato to try and get rid of it. Or, if you're ahead on life count, you take the 7 damage and hold it until right before their end step. And if they don't have 3 mana up, you got them. So,
amazing.
Yeah, then you pass it off. And that's essentially... essentially the best way to use Fruitcake Elemental. But
yeah, it's got its funness to it.
Yeah, it definitely takes a little bit of work to get it to work. But now, just remember, with all of these cards, and you're going to see this is true, way true on a lot of the other cards, way more true than it is even here. The theme is everything. So at some point, we're going to run into cards that really don't make any sense at all, but they do what they do because of the theme. Yeah. So this one, you can use it. You can use it, but just be aware of what the theme is. So
yeah. And speaking of 7, our 2007 card is Gifts Given. It's 3 and a blue. It's an instant. Search target opponent's library for 4 cards with different names and reveal them. It's pretty good in Commander because they all have different names.
Yeah.
That player chooses 2 of those cards. You put the chosen cards in the player's graveyard and the rest into your hand. Then that player shuffles their library. You find their 4 best cards that would work best with your deck. You get to put them in your hand, whether you can cast them or not.
Yeah.
You put 2 of them in your hand.
You put 2 of them in your hand. Depending on the deck, depending on how things work, for the most part, if you're trying to do this,
mm-hmm.
either you're removing their 4 best cards and make sure they're not a graveyard recursion deck, because then you're just gifting them 2 cards, or, and this would be more the way I would run it, find 4 mana rocks. Whichever. You're going to be able to cast them, and you're throwing 2 of them in the graveyard, so you're limiting their mana production, and you're adding 2 more.
Yeah.
Realistically, this card is inspired by Gifts Ungiven. If you look at the art between the 2, that's very similar. And Gifts Ungiven is you search your library for up to 4 cards with different names and reveal them, and the target opponent chooses 2 of those cards, and they go in the graveyard, and the rest go into your hand. So Gifts Given, it's the same thing, except you're taking it out of your opponent's library.
Brilliant.
So it's cute.
It seems busted if you know how to play it, or you have like a deck that really can take advantage of other people's cards. But it's not in the spirit of the card. If you're gonna play it, don't be a jerk.
I think this is one where you're really, for it to be truly effective, you want to be targeting the other guy who is helping you try and catch whoever the leader is in the game.
Oh, yeah.
Then it's, okay,
go for Mr. 2
I'm going for my 2 best cards, and I'm going to put 2 cards into your graveyard that I think will be effective for you later on. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. 2008?
2008.
This one is Evil Presence, and that's presents as in gifts. Evil Presence, yes, it's a sorcery. It costs 2 and 2 black. It says put a creature card from your hand into play under target opponent's control. That creature attacks each turn if able, and always attacks its controller, which means that on their combat step, that creature attacks them.
I see.
Given what we know about Goad now, I would suggest that maybe this card would possibly be just Goad. But yeah. I get what the idea is, and of course, again, going full on with the idea. It's a cute idea. It's a cute idea because it forces them to block on their own turn. Admittedly, the creature that you're giving them is not indestructible. So if they have any way to sack a creature they control, this isn't going to be very effective for you. But again, much like Gifts Given, if there's if you're giving it to a friend, perhaps your friend can find an effective way to use it. So,
yeah, I think, like you said, it's Goad or something to that effect. There are better cards with black borders that do a similar thing. especially where so often, especially in Commander, you have sack outlets. You've got ways to remove your own things. So if it's under their control, great. They can do what they want with it. Yeah, just kind of, it's a fine card.
Yeah.
It's cute. It's
It
got
is
some cute little goblins.
I believe so.
Okay. Speaking
Which
of
is
goblins.
better to give than to receive.
Oh,
That's the flavor text on the card.
well. I guess that's true because, yep. Speaking of goblins, the next one has a goblin on it. It's Season's Beatings, 2009. Red. 4 reds. Sorcery. It's got a little mechanic called Family Gathering, which probably is only on this card.
Yeah.
Each creature target player controls deals damage equal to its power to another random creature that player controls. Flavor text is, arriving home, he suddenly longed for the blood-soaked battlefields behind him.
So I'm assuming that this is a play on being miserable miserable with your family at the holidays.
It's dark.
It's a little dark.
It's a dark card.
Given the option, and of course it being a goblin, that just makes perfect sense because of course they're beating up on each other. This card could be truly miserable.
Yeah. And for a one-time sorcery, I don't understand it.
I'm also not sure. It says each creature target player controls deals damage equal to its power to another random creature that player controls. So I assume you randomly determine which creature or each creature's damage.
Oh, okay.
And then the damage is dealt, and then it's done. Because otherwise, if I pick one creature, randomly assign damage, and then the next creature and randomly assign damage.
Right.
Some of these creatures are going to die before they can assign damage.
Yeah, I assume it's like a fight thing, but
it's just
like
all at once.
This is probably before they had the fight mechanic kind of hammered out. Because I read until you explained it, I pictured it as like, oh, I target you. You have 6 creatures. All 6 of your creatures do damage to one of your creatures at random, and that seems not good for 4 red. But I think it is what you were saying, where if you have 6 creatures
to another random,
and the one it's punching doesn't necessarily have to be the one punching back. So I guess that's the way it's not fighting.
If you have 4 1/1 creatures,
right,
they would all assign damage. So creature number 1 would randomly assign to 2, 3, or 4. Creature 2, 1, 3, 4, etc. And then once they've all randomly done their damage,
so you could
then you determine which ones die.
Yeah, you could potentially have, multiple attacking a single creature. You could have a creature being attacked by nothing.
Right.
Interesting.
Chaotic.
Yeah, very, very red, especially for 4 red pips. It seems kind of cool, but it also seems like if you're gonna play this regularly in a deck, like nobody's gonna want to play with you anymore. It takes so much to figure out.
Well, especially because you're always gonna want to play it on the guy who has the most creatures, unless of course the creatures are indestructible. Then
right, or if they have lifelink.
Good point. Good point. Generally speaking, you're always going to go for maximum damage, maximum casualty. So, and when you do that, you're also creating maximum difficulty. It's going to be the most complicated way to figure things out. So, either way, that's a card I would love to play with. At least once or twice, just to watch it play out.
All right, on to the next one.
Yeah.
On Dasher, on Dancer. Next one, 2010. Snow Mercy.
Yes.
2 white. Snow Enchantment. Seen more of those lately. Whenever a creature deals damage to you, put a globe counter on it. Tap, untap, tap, untap, tap. 2. Tap all creatures with globe counters on them. flavor text: warning, shake gently. Contents may cause choking, hypothermia, and/or planar invasion. Picture's got a bunch of Phyrexians? No. They're Mirrodin? I don't know.
I'm going to go with Phyrexian.
Okay.
The card is inspired by another card called No Mercy.
I don't believe you.
Well, No Mercy is an enchantment for 2 and 2 black, and it says whenever a creature successfully deals damage to you, destroy it. And the image is showing Phyrexians
invading,
essentially planeswalking onto a different plane. And you'll notice that the flavor text on No Mercy is, we had years to prepare while they had mere minutes, and this is from Carrick, Sleeper Agent.
Yawgmoth's son.
So, well, it's spelled differently. So
interesting.
I have to talk to the Vorthos guys to find out if they're the same person and they just changed the way they spelled it.
Oh.
Or not. But you really do have to look at No Mercy to get all of the thematic puns and everything else. Because the whole idea, the flavor text on Snow Mercy is clearly referencing No Mercy with the planar invasion. So, as far as the practicality, you get to tap creatures.
Yeah.
That whole tap on tap thing. I mean, it's a snow globe. That's the whole point. Shaking the globe.
Yeah, I do like that it ends on tap, so that you can't just be doing this always.
You can't
like
be
it's not like so like this card feels especially more along the lines of unstable when we're talking about silver border cards. It feels a little bit more refined and like physically goofy.
Yeah.
It feels very similar to, what is it, Secret Word? Or like Whisper something.
Oh, the one that taps when you say
like,
the secret word. Or
when you whisper.
I forget the name of the word. The name of the card. I'm pretty sure it's Secret Word.
It feels like that, where it's like, oh, but
you have to do something when, in fact, realistically, there's really nothing to do.
Yeah. But with that, you don't have the restriction of only doing it once around. This, you do have that restriction, which is nice, and you get that goofy, shaking a...
Right. And hey, you also get to make globe counters. I recommend using glass beads for your globe counters. They're not perfectly round, but...
You don't want to just get a room full of globes and...
Well, I thought about marbles, but they don't necessarily stay on the card.
I was thinking, like,
you'd hope,
like the big cardboard ones you'd find in like a first grade classroom, or
big cardboard globe. Just drop that right on top of the card.
Yeah, like get a bunch of them.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Seems fine.
Yeah, it costs 4 mana. I mean, and the creature has to do damage to you before you can put a globe counter on it. So everybody gets a free swing. Yeah. And then you finally start to get stopping it.
It's a 4 mana don't attack me.
Right. And I've played with cards like this where you get to do something to creatures that have done damage to you, and it doesn't work as well as you'd hope, because it doesn't take long until your life total is to the point where you can't let them do damage to you. So it's not as effective as you might hope, but
and with 4 people,
fun.
Yeah, and with 4 people, like they untap, like they each untap individually, so it's hard to kind of time when you're gonna activate it, because you've got
it really does turn into a way to stop one creature, or at least one player's creatures. Right. So make your decisions accordingly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Up next, I have to be very careful with the pronunciation of this. You'll ooze. Not you'll lose.
No.
You'll lose?
You'll lose.
Me?
Read the card.
No, I know. 2 red-green. It's a 1/1. Creature ooze. From 2011.
Yeah.
At the beginning of your upkeep, destroy another non-land permanent chosen at random that anybody controls. Interesting. Then put a number of +1/+1 counters on You'll Lose equal to that permanent's converted mana cost. Red, green, eat some food. To regenerate You'll Lose. It loves having family for dinner. I've gotten a strong affection for oozes lately. Yeah. I like this one. Especially where it tells you to eat some food.
I'm trying to decide what kind of deck you should run that would work best with You'll Ooze. My problem is that it becomes a case of the more permanents you put on the battlefield, mm-hmm. the fewer of them are going to be have a higher mana cost. In fact, if you run tokens, they don't have a mana cost, and since you're destroying another non-land permanent chosen at random,
and there's a lot of tokens. There's a lot of token creatures. There's a lot of treasures. There's a lot of clues now.
So I can't control what anybody else is running. All I can control is me. So to maximize You'll Lose, I want to only have high casting cost cards out.
Yeah, green.
The really good ones that I don't really want to lose.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
It's got a thing against it and a thing for it, which is really nice. Thing against it, or thing for it first. It doesn't target, which is cool.
Right.
So if it's hexproof or
doesn't matter. It's
destroyed.
Yeah.
If it's indestructible, it doesn't get destroyed.
Right.
But do you still get the number of +1/+1 counters on it? It's like, say it
shows it at random, then
I think you still get the +1/+1 counters on it. Because
it's not an if statement.
Yeah.
It's not if that creature dies, then you get this. It's then. So, yeah, I would think so.
It's pretty neat.
I mean, it's silver bordered.
Right.
That's the way I'll rule it. Damn it. Because that sounds like more fun.
We'll leave it at that.
It does also say another. So it can't randomly target itself.
Right.
And as far as the regenerate, well, yeah.
It's nice that this happens once a turn, rather than like all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest issue with this card is that, with 4 people, you get a lot of permanents out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it's non-land. I recommend that if you're going to run this, be sure to have the random number generator on your phone ready to go. Because, with 4 players, you could easily have 40 permanents. You might want to set them up in a line so that way you can quickly count off and see which permanent bites the dust.
Yeah. And, yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Let's do 6.
I think we do 2 more.
Let's do 2 more and then our break. Next up, we got Naughty or Nice.
Yes.
It's a split card.
Yeah.
Side by side one.
This is the first holiday card I ever received from Wizards. So it's been a lot of fun running this one. But go ahead.
This is clearly a reference to that one card that has art like this. I'll figure it out in a second.
Okay.
So the Naughty Half, 1 black sorcery. Search another target player's library for a card and put that card into your hand. Then shuffle that player's library. That part, just like the Gifts Given, except stronger because
way better.
You get to choose.
I pick whatever card out of your deck I want, and I get it. Right. So either I'm taking the card away from you, or I'm taking it for me.
You don't get like a 60% chance to get the card that you want.
Right.
And then the Nice Half, 1 white. So instead of 1 black, it's 1 white. Sorcery, search your library for a card and put it into another target player's hand. Then shuffle your library. I don't know. It's self-explanatory. It's nice.
Okay, so this card is awesome. It you're almost always going to play naughty just because you get the card. Now, be careful, because this does not say that you can tap mana of any colors. So if you're targeting somebody who is playing colors that you don't have in your deck, well, then hope you're looking for an artifact, because that's all you're getting. Well, an artifact or a land, because it doesn't even say non-land. It just says a card. So you can take anything. The key, though, is that the card always ends up in your hand, and you're picking your opponent anyway. So you're going to pick somebody who has, if you don't already have a card in mind from their deck, you're going to pick somebody who has the same colors as you, so you have maximize your opportunities. I have taken, with Naughty, I have taken anything from basic land up to, just like, no, I don't want you to have this. I've used Naughty as a way, because I didn't even care what card I got. I just needed them to shuffle their library, because I knew what they had on the top of the library coming up. The part I like is the nice part. Nice is only going to be good when you've got a situation where you want somebody else to have something. Because, usually it's because there's another opponent that's hammering people. So you've got a solution. So you just want somebody to play it.
Yeah.
The problem is that that's not a situation that's in the game at all times. So I think you're going to cast the nice half of the card far less than you will the naughty, but it's just awesome. I love the card.
You wanna hear what the card art is based on?
What's that?
Diabolic Tutor, which
Right.
makes sense. 2 black. Search your library for a card. Put it in your hand. Sorcery. So Greg Staples got a weird man on your card. Very unnerving. Except when he's nice and eating pie. Is that? Seems like some pie.
Yeah, well, the idea is of the naughty part, it looks like, he's been eating something and there's blood all around his lips. And the nice part, it's obvious it's just, pie filling.
Next card.
Pie.
Next card, we've seen in action. We've seen it. If you've been paying close enough attention over the past couple seasons, we've talked about this card previously. You had it in
Griselda.
Mm-hmm. I believe you also might have had it in one of our finale episodes, but I don't remember.
It could be.
It's an artifact creature, so it's just 5 generic mana.
Mm-hmm.
Cat Construct. You can put it in your cat deck.
There you go.
Or your Construct deck.
Uh-huh.
It's a 3/3. Stalking Tiger enters the battlefield with a sealed magic booster pack under it. When Stalking Tiger deals combat damage to a player, unwrap the booster pack and put it in your hand. Now, I've seen this in action, and it gets nuts, especially if you recur it. It deals the damage. You take the booster pack, put it in your hand. You'll have more cards than you can hold, so you discard some. If you've got any sort of graveyard recursion in your deck, you can get those cards back out.
Right.
The nice thing here is that you will end up with a basic land, hopefully, or maybe if you're lucky, a duel. And the only way to get another booster pack under it is for it to leave the battlefield and come back.
Yeah.
Whether it's through flickering or graveyard shenanigans.
Initially, the first couple of times I played this, it didn't take much for people to realize, oh my god, that's too powerful.
But it's goofy.
Well, exactly. But so they weren't letting me actually hit anybody with it, because when it comes down to it, it is a 3/3.
Right.
It's an artifact creature. It has no abilities. It doesn't fly, no trample, no nothing. So it's hard to actually do the damage. And then somewhere along the line, somebody just said, meh, this looks way too cool. Why wouldn't we do this? And I was choosing random packs to put underneath it at one point. So then I finally managed to get it, to get packs out every once in a while. And it just creates insane board states. Even if you're not recurring it. I mean, 15 cards. And like Andy said, one of them's a land. Most often, one of them's a land. It's amazing how many times that comes in handy.
Oh, yeah.
You drop the land, and now suddenly you also have a land that's a different color.
Possibly.
It may not even be among your deck's colors. You've got a handful of cards that you can now do stuff with, and suddenly your opponents really don't have any idea what's going on, because if you're playing with your regular group, they may have some sense of what's in your deck, but now they have no idea. It can be crazy. And then when you start to recur,
right.
Well, that's a whole different story, because we had one game with Griselda, and I mixed Stalking Tiger. I can't remember what the other creature was, and I put them together. But it swung, hit for well over 10. I think it was, I'm assuming it had flying or trample, or maybe it was shadow. I don't even remember. But I remember it hit because I had put a pack of Commander Legends under it. So I didn't get 15, I got 20 cards. And it was outstanding. And then I managed to destroy it and bring it back again for the next turn and do the same thing all over again. So I got 2 consecutive turns, or hitting and getting to open a pack of cards. And I mean, hey, what's better than opening a pack of cards in the middle of the game?
I mean, it's essentially Booster Tutor, just strictly better.
Well, Booster Tutor is a guarantee, and it hit, and you play it, and you get the pack right away. With this one, you have to work, but yeah,
you get a creature out of it as well.
You're getting a creature.
And it's not blue. I think, let's take a break.
Yeah.
When we come back, we'll talk more about some jolly good fun. We're back. This episode of Temple of Falsepod is brought to you by our very own bearded wonder, Uncle Istvan. Ho ho ho! Hello! I don't know. I tried. I was thinking kind of like Santa, but I was like, who's got a beard in Magic? And Uncle Istvan's the first person I thought of.
What about, what's his name?
Feldon has a beard.
Baron.
But he's not jolly enough.
No. Bruce Tarl. He's jolly, but no beard. Just awesome mustache.
Let's see. This episode of Temple of Falsepod is brought to you by Goblin Snowman. When you're looking for some seasonal fun that's in black border, go for Goblin Snowman. It's a 1/1 for 3 in red. Whenever Goblin Snowman blocks, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to and dealt by it this turn. You ping a target creature it's blocking. I got nothing funny to say, except it's a silly card. I'm surprised it's not like a snow creature, but they probably didn't have snow then.
Oh, it's an Ice Age.
Was it? Oh, then never mind.
This episode of Temple of Falsepod is brought to you by Blizzard, because sometimes the weather outside is frightful, and you should just stay home and play Magic.
Now back to you. We're back and talking about some special holiday cards.
2014.
We're halfway through. Halfway to home. I'll be home for Christmas. Jonathan Taylor Thomas. What a great movie. The next one is Mishra's Toy Workshop. It's a land.
First land.
Tap to add 3 to your mana pool. Spend this mana only on spells and abilities that put tokens on the battlefield. Use toys to represent the tokens.
Well, somebody who did try and build around this card, because, hey, I was lucky enough to get it, so I thought I should try and build around it. I built a primarily token deck, and most of the cards that made tokens were X spells, with the idea being that the 3 mana would just be added to X, because it's 3 color. It's 3 colorless. 3 colorless. So if you're using pretty much most of the cards that make tokens have some kind of color requirements. So it always proved a little bit clunky, like getting it at times when I didn't want it or couldn't use it properly. I also tried to figure out a way to set it up so that you could recur the use, but again, it's so I had a handful of green creatures that could make tokens with an activation cost. So like was it Jade Leech, I think, makes insects, or no, it's not right.
I mean, there's more and more lately.
Yeah, there's a handful of them with an activation cost. You just spend the 3 in the colorless, and you're good to go. So I mean, I like it, and I like the idea that it was inspired by Mishra's workshop. So
yeah, this is the first of a couple that we see where it requires you to use something other than cardboard to represent a token.
Yes.
Which is cool, and especially where, I mean, if you're playing like kitchen table Magic, it's your tokens sometimes generally are other things,
right?
I know you've got little meeples.
Yes, and I use meeples it was part of the reason why I got as many of the meeple tokens as I did, was because of this card. So I've got meeple angels and goblins and whatever else. So.
Yeah, and I think it really speaks to the heart of casual Magic, where I've seen just like scraps of paper and stuff, like literally somebody tore off a corner of a paper and wrote on it for a token, and like this kind of gives you a bit of permission to upgrade it a little, like make it a little sillier, a little nicer than just some words on a card.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's good.
Quick comment on the picture. You can see the teddy bears rolling down the assembly line, heading towards 2 spinning blades, and the flavor text is: even though Urza tried to apologize, Mishra continued to bear a grudge.
Nice. Getting back to the Brothers War about this time next year.
About this time next year, you are correct.
Our next card from 2015, we'll make this one short because not much to say other than this beautiful tree folk by Mark Zug. 1 and a red, sorcery, Goblin Sleigh Ride. Target creature you control climbs onto Goblin Sleigh Ride. You slide them on their merry way. If the creature stayed on, it deals damage equal to its toughness to each other creature touched during the slide.
Now, as somebody who tried to use this card, I quickly gave up. Cards like this immediately encourage your opponents to scatter their cards all over the place if you intend to use it. You get all sorts of weird corner cases, like you can't tuck the creature into the sleeve that's holding the Goblin Sleigh Ride card, because that's cheating. And then you're just flinging your card across the table, and it's, I don't know, it's one of the few cards that really just didn't appeal to me.
Yeah, it seems fine. Like I know, especially with this table, like it's a little bit like there's a bit more friction. Like the size of the table matters because like you're not going to be able to like hit multiple opponents' creatures like from different opponents. I like to think of this in relation or like in conjunction with Mishra's toy shop or toy workshop, whatever it was, the last one, because then you can put your little toy on the card and slide it across.
The other difficulty is that most people use playmats. So when you go to slide it, how do you get it to get onto a playmat? So there's all kinds of bits of difficulty with the card, and actually even trying to use the dexterity aspect of it makes it a little difficult. But
yeah, I think
it's the theme.
Yeah, and
it definitely fits the theme.
If any of you out there figure out a way to make this work, let us know.
I've got a Goblin Sleigh Ride that's just sitting there in my collection, desperately hoping and waiting for the moment when it can shine.
Speaking of shining moment, our
Yes.
next one is possibly our favorite, Two Blue Blue, Thopter Pie Network. This is 2016. Enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you are eating, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. Use food to represent the token. Whenever a creature token you control dies, if it is represented by food, eat it.
Couple things. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you're eating, this doesn't mean if you're eating. Not like a surprise, so that you need to be eating the entire time you're playing. It's just on your upkeep, folks. So, keep that slice of pizza handy. And when your turn starts,
Spit out the bite.
Get a nice big mouthful and start chewing your way through your upkeep. Now, yeah, I wouldn't recommend spitting out that piece to create your 1/1 Thopter token. I have used everything from Halloween candy to a just little, hard candy treats, and gummy bears are awesome because gummy bears not only work with Thopter Pie Network, but I'm going to call it a toy and tell you that it also works with Mishra's toy workshop.
Bruce likes to play with his food. Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's such I don't know. Never mind. I don't have anything to say here. It's great. It's again just in the line of using something other than cardboard to represent your token,
right,
which can always just be a fun pizzazz thing. There's no real way to break this because it doesn't do anything particularly broken.
Right.
You're getting a 1/1 Thopter. The only way you can really abuse it is any other way you can abuse any token generator of the similar caliber, Dragon Master, Outcast, or if you make the tokens into something else
I will say
Divine Visitation.
If you are if you're running a token deck, then just make all of your tokens food. Mostly because mass removal hurts a lot less when you're scooping up 10 of your token creatures that are actually 10 M&Ms and chomping them down.
My question.
Yeah.
It's a rules question. Say you've got this in Brutaclad. Do all of your mirrors become food if they become Thopters, or if your Thopters become something else, do you have to change?
The food is merely representing the token.
Okay.
So the M&Ms can all be treasures on one turn and mirror the next turn. So
interesting.
Just keep in mind you're going to have to try and keep track of that nightmare, and good luck with that. Maybe different colored M&Ms, but then every time it changes, you're handling a whole lot of M&Ms and shifting things around, and that doesn't sound like I want to be eating that many M&Ms.
That and your hands, your playmat, probably not the cleanest.
Probably not.
Wash your hands, kids. Next one, 2017. Some disassembly are required. For 1 black, it's an enchantment. 1, sacrifice a creature. That's the payment. Distribute the sacrifice creature's keyword abilities among any number of other target creatures until end of turn. If it's December, you gain 1 life for each of those keywords. I'm glad this isn't sorcery speed, but other than that, it's fine. I think this was really them dipping their toe into things leading up to Ikoria, with the idea of distributing keywords around.
Kinda, because they're not counters.
Yeah.
So there's that. Honestly, I like this in a deck that steals creatures. Yeah, and using it as a sack outlet. For that matter, just always using it as a sack outlet. You spend 1 black, sacrifice your creature. I mean, if somebody's trying to steal it, that's just fine. If you're swinging in and you're going to lose the creature in combat, you can, if it has any abilities, you can use it to sack and move those abilities onto another creature. So, and
it's a shame. It's a shame it's not counters, but I mean,
right. I wish it was. I think it would be easier to keep track of a lot of things. But it also doesn't specify. It doesn't give you a list of keywords that it moves. So shadow or it just, if people are killing your creature because of the keyword abilities that are on it, it's just not effective because they're just going to go on to the next ugliest creature around.
It's nice too that it's distribute them rather than like all of your creatures get these keywords. Like it's one to one.
Yeah,
but that's fun.
Yeah,
it's not too broken, not too absurd.
Sure, and I like the 1 life in December. What the heck?
Yeah, right. Next one.
Maybe it needs to jump into one of my decks for the next month.
Next one is Bog Humbugs. Another one I had to say slowly and enunciate. Bog Humbugs is 1 in black for a 1/1. Oh, great value. Creature insect. Flying. Oh, okay. So it's a 1/1 with flying for 2. Great.
Yep.
Whenever Bog Humbugs deals combat damage, hum that many notes on a festive song. Of a festive song. If you can, put a +1/+1 counter on Bog Humbugs. It's cute. The first time you do it, you're just gonna hum a note, even if you're bad at it.
Yep.
If everybody agrees that it was good enough,
right?
If you're denying people these +1/+1 counters because they're not good at humming, boo you Scrooge.
Bah humbug.
I like that the flavor text is just like
it's Jingle Bells.
It's Jingle Bells, right? But it's like the music sheet form.
It's the sheet form for Jingle Bells.
It's cute. It gets bigger and bigger, and the song gets longer and longer.
I mean, this thing. How long do you think this thing's going to survive? Because once you get 3 +1/+1 counters on it, now suddenly it's a 4/4 flyer. It's going to start getting blocked. Although it does say deals combat damage, not 2 players. So every time it deals combat damage, you're going to be humming something.
Unless it's going to die, and then you don't have to necessarily. Well, I mean,
it deals
if
damage.
It's blocked and it deals combat damage to another creature, and then it dies, you still have that trigger. You're not going to get the +1/+1 counter anyway because it's dead, but this is just a little pedantry for you. Got to sneak in some before we end this episode.
You bet.
Got a couple more. got a couple more for you.
I will say I like the art on the card. I love the colorful trail of Christmas lights behind the
just a bunch of
celebrating, bringing joy and festivity to the
just a bunch of swamp
to whatever
flies.
swamp.
Yeah. Anyway, next one, 2019.
I'll jump in. This one's Decorated Knight. It costs 3 and a blue. It's a human knight. However, it's also a sorcery called Present Arms for 2 and a blue. It's an adventure sorcery, so it's the 2-on-1 card. It fits with the cards you saw during Eldraine.
Eldraine, yes.
So the sorcery is exchange your library with another deck you own from outside the game. Shuffle your library.
This might be good if you're running low in cards, but other than that, it just seems ineffective. Like, what's the point?
Right. Well, there isn't a whole lot of point. It says, and then for the creature side, it's a 3/3. It says, whenever Decorated Knight attacks, draw a card from your original deck if it's outside the game.
Oh.
So, in essence,
you're doubling your life or your deck size.
Well, yeah. I mean, you are getting to draw from your original deck, but you're also drawing from this other one. I mean, realistically, I guess you're looking at. I assume that you want to have 2 decks that are running the same colors, or close to it. Maybe your first deck is a 2 or 3 color, and your new deck is a 1 or a 2 color.
Maybe there's overlap.
Right.
It's nice because you'll be drawing exclusively from the new deck until this card attacks. So like you're getting an extra card pretty much every turn, which is cool. but you're only drawing from your old deck, the deck that was built for the game that you're playing, only once a turn.
Right.
So like if you have like a draw spell or something, you're drawing from the new deck. Hopefully the lands in that deck will help you out.
Right.
It seems like it could very well be busted if you are cheeky about it, I guess. Like,
it's funky and it's chaotic.
yeah.
That's basically what this comes down to. So, yeah. I think it looks interesting.
I'd love to try it out.
Yeah. It looks fun.
The next one, kind of also in the Eldraine Wonderland, because I think we saw this little gingerbreadman during the trailers for Eldraine. The next one is a Boros card. It's called Top Deck the Halls from 2020. Wow, we're getting there. 3 red white enchantment. Decorated cards in your hand have Miracle Snow. Decorated cards include premiums, promos, and cards with alternate frames or art.
In other words, just about every single card in existence right now.
Yeah. Especially with Secret Lair.
Yeah.
I think this was clearly either hinting towards Secret Lair or I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the timeline of which this was released in comparison to the first Secret Lair, which was probably before this. So, at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 12 or more decorated permanents, you win the game. You got 12 presents, you win. You're a nice decorated tree.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, shiny.
Very red and white there for you.
Yeah.
It seems fun. It seems fine. I feel like so for those who don't know, Miracle is if it is the first card you draw in a turn, you can play it if you pay its Miracle cost. So if it's got Miracle, I guess you have to reveal it when you draw it. Otherwise, people are just taking your word for it. I've never played with Miracle before because I didn't.
The key with if you know that you're running this, then
right.
You're going to draw the card, hold it away from the rest of your hand,
and then
now it's in your hand. It's part of your hand, but everyone knows that's the card you drew. That means that it now has the Miracle with a snow for snow mana. So tap the 1 snow and put it immediately onto the battlefield. Congratulations. Yeah.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, snow mana is mana produced by any snow permanent.
Yes.
So there are a few cards that can turn your permanents into snow permanents.
Yeah.
So like if you have a snow soul ring, it will produce 2 snow mana.
Yeah. Mostly it's just snow covered basic.
Yeah.
Is your general go-to. Real quick, the card is inspired. The art for the card is inspired from Dream Halls. And
what is that?
Take a look at Dream Halls. Dream Halls, the card itself, it says, rather than pay the mana cost for a card, its controller may discard a card that shares a color with that card, with that spell.
Oh.
So take your 12 mana creature and discard any card that matches the color, and you can play it for free. Dream Halls is stupid busted, but more importantly, the art in Dream Halls shows. Oh boy, is this Volrath?
Yeah, seems like it.
Yeah, it shows Volrath in Wrath, and you can see the, I don't know, he's got, like, there's orbs with faces and like stuff
cages,
in them. And,
yeah,
they're like miniature cages and stuff. And then for Top Deck the Halls...
Is that Urza and Mishra down in the bottom?
I'm not sure.
It looks like at least Mishra, but anyway.
It could be. And then on Top Deck the Halls, you've got, instead of those cages, you've got Christmas ornaments, and there's a gingerbread man standing on a
bough
of
a tree.
Yeah, of a tree. Yeah,
it's interesting because going from this card to Dream Halls, it looks like Dream Halls was the parody. Like it looks like like the succession went the other way. But that's a fun one.
Yeah, and obviously, I mean, if you have, if you're running your deck with a lot of specialty cards, a lot of premium cards, then this just makes good sense.
Yeah, especially now that with set boosters, and I mean every set has a new.
Yeah, every set has a card that is going to be somehow premium, that will fit the decorated requirement. So, so this could be easily used in a lot of decks.
So fast forwarding all the way to 2021. That's
Here
this
we are.
year.
This year, this is the card.
This is the card. It is Innistrad based.
Yes.
So that's pretty obvious. I mean, pretty unsurprising. But the surprising thing to me was that it was not Edgar and Olivia based in that realm. It was so the art depicts Gisa and Geralf.
Yeah.
Brother sister pair of wonderful people.
Yeah.
And there's a zombie in the background. They seem to be doing some sort of gift exchange. Geralf clearly has an arm wrapped in some paper.
Yep.
And Gisa has an axe.
Mm-hmm. Although the axe is behind her back.
Yeah. So maybe it's a surprise gift.
Must be.
The flavor text says, "Dear brother." So it's from Gisa.
Yeah.
I couldn't forget you if I tried, and I have tried. The card is called Last Minute Chopping. Play on Last Minute
Chopping.
Yeah.
Yes.
1 blue-black sorcery. Ask target opponent if they remembered to get you a present. If they say yes, they put a card they own from outside the game into your hand. Otherwise, you gain control of target permanent they control. I don't see the use in this. You're paying 3 mana for them to give you a basic or a card that you can't use. Because they choose the card. They have to shuffle through a deck from outside the game. Unless they're trying to help you.
Well, they would give you a basic outside the game, and if you don't have a card to give, then you gain control of target permanent they control. So you get anything.
Well,
but yeah, you're always going to say yes and give them a basic, unless, of course, we're doing what we've talked about with some of the previous cards. This is a person you're working with to try and take somebody else down. In which case, I'm just going to give you the exact card I need you need.
This is busted in Two-Headed Giant. But
right. Well,
actually, no, not in Two-Headed Giant because it is target opponent.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we play Magic at my place. My entire collection is here. So, yeah, if I'm working with somebody, this is a great card. But this falls along the line of the nice and naughty and nice. It's a card that's only good for sometimes, unless of course you just need a land. Although I will say that honestly, if you played the card on me, I don't know that I would give you the land. I might just give you a card that I know you can't play.
Right,
card in the wrong colors, a card that costs 16 mana. Wandering ones. Just things that are essentially useless.
This seems like it could be a good card if the person's not paying attention, but then they're just gonna be like, "Wait, what? What did you say? What does that card do?"
Right.
Or if they've had a bit too much eggnog, maybe they'll fumble and give you something stupidly powerful. It's cute. It's cute.
It is cute, and I really do like the art. I think it's I enjoy the art, and
it feels very Christmas card.
And honestly, almost every time we go to Innistrad, it's either dark or it's autumn, and in this one, it's just straight up winter, and I like that. I like the idea, as and maybe it's just my Canadian coming out, but.
And it's nice because it's not super dark either. There's usually a lot of shadows on Innistrad, even when it's nighttime. And because of the snow, you've got this brilliant,
you got this
luminous
glow.
Obviously, the heron in the moon.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It makes me want to build with these cards, even if I end up taking them out.
Well, that's just it. And like I said, for most of these cards, they're not that great.
Right. And most of these cards are way out of my price range.
Oh, yeah. More than once I've looked at buying some of the ones that I don't own, and it's just not
reasonable,
not feasible.
Yeah.
In every sense of the term.
Yeah. There are a few of these that I was surprised that they didn't, like, now that I've looked at them, I'm surprised they didn't reprint these in, like, unsanctioned or something. The, like, pre-built deck.
Right. Like, I mean, Decorated Knight, it's only from 2 years ago, so there should be several of them floating around.
Right.
It's currently worth $60.
Yeah.
And I'm just
probably the cheapest one.
Not paying $60 for this card. That's just not going to happen. So, but, you know, if you're gifted them, then you take it and you run with it. So.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's the thing to take away from this is that they're put out there similar to judge promos and the yearly, like, employee ones.
Right.
Where they're put out as a generous gift of, like, hey, thanks for being a part of the Magic community, and they are there to represent, be a physical token of their gratefulness. What's the word I'm looking for?
Just, you know, thanks for the work that you've done over the course of the year for us. We appreciate it, kind of thing.
Yeah. And I think that as game pieces, they toe the line of absurd and practical very well. And I do like I like these cards especially because they do the thing that the time shifted sheet did, where it, like, or I guess, like, all the time spiral stuff and that other set where it's just a bunch of callbacks, or Modern Horizons 2, like, it's just a bunch of callbacks to Magic in previous years, dating all the way back to the early 90s. And I think just, like, these cards, they're fun, they're dumb, they're, you know, if you want to play with them, great. Talk with the rest of your play group, talk with whoever you play with, have at it, have fun.
Right. Exactly.
I know we're going to go have fun because we're about to go play Magic.
Yep.
So we're going to sign off for the night. Thank you so much for listening. We're Temple of the False Spot, where our decks are not optimized, but our plays sure as heck are fun. I'm Andy.
I'm Bruce.
Happy holidays. Have a great new year. We'll see you. Actually, we've got one more before the new year.
Yep.
So we'll see you next week. Again, have a great night. May your fifth land be the temple.
Ho, ho, ho!
Wait. Before you go, I just wanted to say thank you for listening. You can reach out to us via email at falsepodmtg@gmail.com or on Twitter @falsepodmtg. Bruce is @manaburned, and I'm @AndyWeekend, though you'll definitely notice I use the podcast Twitter far more often. Now that we've got you here, make sure you subscribe, like, rate us on whatever podcast platform you use. It helps us out. It gets us more reach. Subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. Like a video there. Leave some comments for more casual enjoyment. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back with some more timeless discussions about all things casual. So come hang out, and may your fifth land be the temple. Bye-bye. Should I do my best, Bruce? Bye!